Hello, and my name is UD. Aging gracefully deals with all the insults of aging. Yes, I choose to call them insults. Medically, insult is anything causing disease or injuries to the body or the bodily process. And that is what symptoms of aging basically do to your body. Today I have Professor of Anatomy, Professor Dakwa, the MD of Medical Arts Center, who will be talking to us about the anatomy, why we age, the different effects that the aging process or the insults of aging has on the anatomy. You're welcome. Professor, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Prof, as a professor of anatomy, you have to talk us through the anatomy, the insults. I mean, the word insult of aging was, I first heard it in your office, and you were telling me about some of the insults of aging, and it's talk. And that's why I'm using that word ever so often. Tell us some of the indignities or the insults that the aging process has on the different organs on the body.
Well, before I go to explain to you some of the basic anatomy in aging, let me first start by telling you that from creation, aging is a process that starts right from conception. The minute the sperm and the egg comes together, that begins aging, because they will increase in size and multiply, and they will age to form a normal baby inside the womb. And once the baby is born, the process of aging and death starts until there is a programmed death at the end of the day, at the end of life. Now, which means that it is a physiological process. But we human beings can slow it down, or we can accelerate it.
That is the aging process.
The aging process.
Yes.
Now, so what is the main cause of aging, and how does it occur? The most important factor in aging is what we eat. So, whatever we eat can either make our body to be good or to be bad. So, there is a lot of things in what we eat, how we eat it, that can make us to age gracefully or age awfully. Now, the next thing that also affects aging are the things in our environment. So let me start with the one that we eat. When we eat bad food, and what do I mean by bad food? The way we eat. When we swallow our food, we don't chew it, because food is supposed to be chewed, broken down into small bits, and the process of digestion is supposed to start in the mouth with the help of the saliva and the teeth. But when we take things like swallow and we don't chew it, we don't break it down, and we send it into the stomach, we do so thinking that when it gets to the stomach, there is teeth in the stomach, but there is none. So the food stays there, and it's sent quickly into the intestine, where it will ferment and it will decay. That alone, that process of fermentation and decay has been described 100 years ago by Dr. Mayer as the major cause of ugliness, premature aging, and most of the diseases we have. And I can explain to you how the fermentation can cause this. The intestine has a very small coating in it called the membrane that is supposed to sieve the food that we eat, take the good food, send it to our body through the liver. And the bad food are prevented from coming into the body through this intestinal barrier, which is a double coating of membrane, like cloth, double coating. Now, when we eat bad food, what are the bad food? Excess orange juice, excess fruits, raw vegetables, especially in the night, late eating at night. These are classified as bad eating habits. They stay in the stomach for a short while and they are sent into the intestine where they do not move properly, and they stay there to ferment and decay. What happens? They produce some very potent alcohol, worse than what is in whiskey or brandy, in our intestine. And they now break this membrane because it's made up of fat. They digest it and break the membrane to become almost like this. A coating like this that's supposed to prevent things from going through will now become a single coating like this. So all sorts of food can go through and toxins, and they go into our body systems, and they begin to age every organ in the body, from the brain to the endocrine systems, to the ovary, to the testes, and they manifest in aging. Next, we have in this country what we call party food. These are very raw food, or food that are not properly prepared through hygienic inspection. People who handle our food, they have infections such as typhoid. There is no inspection. Food are prepared in a very unhygienic condition. Our caterers are recruited to large functions, which is only in this country. We cater for hundreds and hundreds of people. And the caterers have maybe 200 plates. And then you want 500 guests at your party, you want them to cater. They'll tell you, yes, they can do it. And when they get there, they bring 200 plates. So those who will eat good food are the first 200. You will notice that soon after that, they start packing the plates. Depending on how able the host is, some of the rice are packed and recycled. Some of the small chops are packed and recycled. And then the plates are now put in small buckets of water, because we don't have running tap in most of these public places. And they dip the plates from one clean water into the next water that is not so, from one, that is clean, but by the third wash, the clean water is now dirty.
Prof, we'll be right back. You're welcome back. Prof, in talking about this party thing, you're really scaring a lot of people.
It's a fact. It happens. I've seen it many times. In the last time I was at one of such functions, the water that was being used to clean this food was so dirty. And then at the end of the tunnel of the chain, they now get this mop, this napkin, paper or cloth napkin, to clean the plate, to wipe it, and you think that it's clean, but it's got a lot of infection around it. and we eat it. So people end up with diarrhea and with typhoid infection. That is one level. The next level is that there is such a horrible misconception by different people, nutritionists, so many people, that gives us an idea about what food is good for us. And they promote such food as fruits, excess of it, vegetables, excess of it. Vegetables are good, but not in excess. And it cannot be raw, because we are not animals that can digest raw vegetables. If at all you have to eat anything like that, it must be early in the morning, because by 4 p.m. in the evening, afternoon, your digestive system has slowed down. Next is that this food that we eat, we also don't recognize the fact that the food of a fisherman is poison for a blacksmith. What does that mean? Our DNA components are different. So the fact that you can take crickets, or you can take plantain, or ugu, does not mean that I can take it. The fact that you can take a stew of pepper and tomatoes that is very high in pepper does not mean that I can do the same. So if I begin to copy you, it ends up at the same position which I have described, this fermentation and decay. Now, I've explained to you that this thing now goes through, having destroyed the blood barrier, the intestinal barrier, and allows different toxins to go into the bloody system. Beyond that, it produces carbon dioxide and alcohol in that area. And these two things are excellent food for bacteria in the small intestine, in the large intestine. So they begin to grow, and it's called candida infection of the intestine. They grow such that you have almost a whole field covered with this candida infection. And they retain water, and they cause bloating, pot belly. One thing that we must begin to realize, which is now being sensitized by the World Health Organization, is that the food industry, in other words, what is good for people to eat, has not been driven by medical opinion. That is, we doctors have not, and we've never been involved in recommending the right food for the people. Food recommendation has been industry driven. So an industrial product makes cornflakes and then puts excess sugar in it and say, oh, cornflakes is good for you. An industrial product makes chocolate with white sugar coating, and you see somebody eating it on television, oh, you think you like it. So the industry has pushed milk to us in Africa. Unfortunately, 90% of Africans cannot take milk. They are lactose intolerant. So we take this milk, we begin to produce gas. We fat all over the place, and we have bloating of the intestine. Next is that this same food industry have put into us in their marketing strategy some oils that are not of our own origin. Vegetable oil and those things which are extremely toxic to us. Whereas the oil that is relevant to our own environment, like coconut oil, like palm oil, and palm kernel oil, we've been discouraged from using this thing and using it in the right way. So these are the things that affect aging. This, coupled with the fact, which you will now see that manifests properly, is that everyone will know that The food you can eat when you are 15, 16, 21, 25, with no effect, with little exercise, no weight gain. Suddenly, you turn 40. Then it begins to manifest. And you find out that you are not even eating as much as you ate before, but now you are gaining weight. Why is that so? Because the digestive system of human beings ages. The enzymes that are responsible for digestion, they age. The number one enzyme to become old is the pancreatic enzyme. This is the enzyme that handles metabolism of sugar. So, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I can eat ice cream, I can take sugar, no effect. Today, I do that in excess, I begin to have problems. And some people have done this to a level that they have burnt out their pancreatic islet cells that produces one hormone called insulin. Insulin is an aging hormone. When you have it in right amount, you are able to metabolize properly. Unfortunately, when you burnt out the insulin process, rather than its conversion of sugar in the liver to energy, it can either store it as fat, or another pathway it can go is what we call an unusual pathway that is not meant to happen. But when we have overloaded the body with sugar and the other pathways for energy or for conversion into storage in the muscles are done, it goes into the fat tissues. And from there, it can go through another metabolism which produces some substances that can be carcinogenic. So, it has been shown and it's been recorded that one of the commonest causes of cancer is high blood sugar, constant high blood sugar. And that if you decrease your sugar level, if you decrease your carbohydrate level, your being prone to cancer is reduced.
Prof, we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this program is to give you information on how you can fight it all the way and age gracefully. You're welcome. Prof. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So when you now see all this, the main source of aging is from the intestine with these toxins that are produced based on the wrong food or the way we have eaten, and they now go to different parts of the body, to the brain, and ages the brain function, how to control the body system. It goes to the skin and causes a breakdown of the collagen in the skin, so the skin will begin to sag and have lines. It goes to the intestine to have pot belly. It goes to the testes so that erectile function becomes slowed down. It goes to the ovary so that they can no longer produce eggs. And it goes to different parts of the body, as well as the sleeping mechanism, which is the real brain part of that part of the brain that controls sleeping, which is the pineal gland that produces melatonin, which is the sleeping hormone. When you sleep, you regenerate, you don't age. But when you now don't sleep, you cannot regenerate. You sleep now, instead of 10 hours, it becomes 8 hours, it becomes 4 hours. So melatonin is an anti-aging hormone, just as insulin is an aging hormone. So this is the basic anatomy. And you can slow this down. You can do this by making sure that you clean up your system regularly. What you cannot control, how this country has aged us, is the environment. We have a lot of substances being released into the environment.
Like generators, smoke.
Smoke, some bad food, like fish, like stockfish that contains mercury. And this will go and deposit on the pineal gland, and it will age fast. And and of course, a lot of the radioactive things or oil deposits that pollute the environment, these are things that can also age us from the environment, which we can do properly, or the absence of air conditioning at night to enable you to sleep at a better temperature. These are things that ages you very badly. That's why you find that people who travel abroad in a cooler climate, they come back a bit more refreshed than before because they've restored that.
Is there anything, briefly, Prof, is there anything that we have control over that can slow? Yes, we'll age, but is there anything that we have control over based on everything? Like which of them?
We have control over the way we eat.
Okay.
We have control on ensuring that once a year we detoxify for about 10 days, or once in a week we detoxify ourselves of toxins by cleaning our intestine, or looking for a center that can help us to do it and remove ourselves of environmental toxins and food toxins. And we have control by eating right food. And when we do all this, you find out that you slow your aging process. You can kill all these bad bacteria in the intestine, and therefore you generate your barrier to filter up good food and eliminate the bad food on a 24-hour basis. Unlike when that thing is holding in the intestine, for some people up to 10 days, they're holding those toxins in their intestine. You fight it also by making sure that you supply the heart with some of the vitamins that it needs to work, which are now dying with age. That is already programmed by nature that it must die. So blood pressure will set in, and other things will set in. But if you supply them with those nutrients, which are going to die normally, then you can slow down that
process of aging. Prof, thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll call on you from time to time to educate us on how we can fight it all the way. We know we'll age, but we have to do it gracefully and not have to suffer the assaults
yes.
and the indignities and insults of aging like our parents did many years ago. Prof, thank you very much. And you viewers, everybody will age, but let's do the bits that we can to control the process of aging. That's why we have brought you this program, Aging Gracefully, on how to deal and reduce the insults, the impacts of the insults and the assaults and the indignities of aging. Until I come your way another time, my name is Yudi. You have a wonderful week ahead of you, and try to eat right. God bless you, and goodbye.